Hello everyone, welcome to Abbott Dog Wisdom. So, today I kind of want to talk about taking the dogs out, and one of the best things that I've done, and that's putting up some motion sensors. So the motion sensors on that pole are awesome. Basically they detect motion and then turn on. I've also got one in the garage that's been there quite a while, but you know, it didn't work when I first bought the house, but I swapped the fixture out and now that works properly. The problem is that recently one of the fixtures up here went out, so it's just dimly lighting, so I'm assuming it's just the whole fixture needs to be replaced, similar to what was done on the garage. But it's super handy because the way I have it kind of set up is that it lights up this area here as well as this area out here, and the far light actually triggers right about right here at the top of the steps. That way it lights up this area out here. That way you're able to see, hey, there's a squirrel, hey, there's a cat, hey, there's something. That way, in case you've got the dogs with you, they're not taking off in the dark without you knowing what's going on. And then once you get down here, just about the bottom of the steps, is when that one triggers. So that works out pretty good, because then you're able to see this way. And then once you get to about right there, it'll trigger the garage lights, which lights that up even more. And this motion sensor light on the house itself has always worked. It's just that recently it now turns on even during the daylight, so that's probably going to be replaced at some point in time as well. And if you're not sure if you really want to do a motion sensor, what you can do is just pick up a battery or solar powered one. So this one's a battery powered. I want to say it was made by Energizer, and it just kind of detects motion and then puts out those two spotlights. It's super handy, and then it was pretty simple to do. So I think the front end screws off, you load the batteries in, and you set it up so that it screws on like a base and then screws into it there. So then it sits wherever you need it. And we originally had that out on the pole, which worked pretty good. And it was one of those things where I was like, wow, this is pretty nice having this trigger, especially considering the light that we had out there was like a really big, almost like a farm or like an ag light or something like that. So similar to like a street lamp, and it took a while to actually come on like full power. So you'd flip the light switch on, and then I'm assuming it was mercury or something inside of it, and it took a long time to heat up. And then after about 10 minutes, then it was at full brightness, which by then the boys were done going to the bathroom and we're heading in. So, you know, it's handy to have something that comes on right away that's LED. And if you're thinking about it, but you don't want to commit to like hardwiring one in, the battery ones are awesome. Just kind of set it up that way it's easy to get to, because again, with it being battery powered, and if it's triggering 2 or 3 times a night, you're going to use the batteries up in a couple months, and then you're going to need to change the batteries out. And if it's up on a ladder or kind of hard to get to, you might not be able to, change it out as readily as you want. But it'll definitely give you an idea of, hey, this is a great spot for a motion sensor, or this is not a good spot for a motion sensor. And I don't remember who made these two, but it was one of those things where they were on sale at Lowe's for something relatively cheap. And speaking of which, their replacement is on sale. So this was about $39. It was marked down from about 50 bucks, so you saved about $10 or $11. And this one seems to be way better than those other ones, because the other ones weren't really waterproof or dustproof, kind of like how this has that IP65 rating. And it's one of those things where I think they had a little bit of a resistance, but they told you that essentially you had to caulk the backside of the mounting surface. So this, I don't know what the IP65 rating means. I'm hoping it's going to be really good, and then it's going to take pretty good to rain and snow. But the really neat part is that this has up to a 70-foot detection range. I think the other ones are only about 49. And then pretty crazy lumens at 2100. And then I like that it's a daylight one, because, the daylight ones do kind of grow on you after a bit. So in the beginning, they seem like, oh man, it's super bright and they can cast a lot of shadow. But I do kind of like them now. So this is kind of what I was talking about with that ceiling and like the water resistance and stuff like that. So here's the new one. You can see the new one, this back area is all sealed up. It has what looks almost like a water maybe resistant connector and stuff. Meanwhile, the original one that I had up there, this one here had a connector set here kind of similar to the connector set here, but this back piece here more or less just kind of snapped in place with a screw at the bottom. And you had to kind of caulk all the way around it in order to kind of make it waterproof. With this, I don't have to caulk all the way around it, and this one included a, like a gasket, which would be handy as well. Boys, ready to go outside? It's gonna be dark. Get back. Go boys, yes, go boys back. So whether you want to go in the DIY route and put in your own lights, or if you pay for someone to put them in, I definitely recommend spending some time either researching how they trigger or spending a little bit extra time aiming them. That way they trigger the way you want them to. That way no one's taken off in the middle of the dark. Oh boys, come on, let's go inside. Hop up. Come on, Bandit. Shadow, come on. Yes, go boys. So having a decent set of motion sensor lights are super handy whenever you've got dogs and you're taking them outside at night really early in the morning. That way you've got plenty of light to keep you safe and keep your dogs safe. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Feel free to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Shadow.